Hello and welcome to Europa Universalis 4, and welcome to Beginning Anew. This will be an ongoing series where I analyze countries and discuss some tactics and strategies that you can use to become a world power and dominate the international stage. I'm always happy to receive more requests as to which country I should review next, but for now, let us begin anew. Today's nation, Brandenburg. Now, Brandenburg is pretty common. It controls Berlin. It is a wonderful nation up north, just north of Bohemia. They do of course have quite a bit less development than Bohemia, but they are in a very good position to become a powerful nation. Now, as a quick overview, of course we border a myriad of countries, the main ones being Pomerania, Bohemia, Poland, and perhaps Saxony, depending on how well the game goes. And of course the Teutonic Order. Now, as for the country himself, there is a duchy because of course they are in the HRE. They are also an elector in the HRE, giving you a good amount of power if you decide to go that route. Western Tech, Catholic, very likely to go Protestant due to the way that Protestant Reformation happens. We have Prussian ideas, considerably one of the best ideas in the game. We have starting off with yearly armor tradition plus 0.25, aggressive expansion impact minus 10%, so you can get conquering right away. We have Founders Kammergericht, which gives you national tax modifier, divide the estates, stability cost modifier, army professionalism, 20% morale, absolutely amazing. Noble cadets, yearly armor tradition decay, which means you can get lots of it and it won't go away too quickly. The Goose Step, infantry combat ability, this is plus 20%. It is absolutely OP. Regimental cantons, we have national manpower modifier plus 25%, recruitment time minus 10%. The recruitment time isn't as amazing, but the national manpower modifier is amazing. Religious toleration, development cost minus 5%, tolerance of heretics is plus 1. And to end it up all, we have the discipline of plus 7.5%. You have found the Space Marines of the ancient world. Now, let us move on to history. History. Brandenburg's history is actually relatively quiet until approximately the central 1500s. Now, if we skip to the War of the Liege of Cambrai, if I'm pronouncing Cambrai right, I don't know. Anyhow, we should see. Terribly sorry, it seems like my game is a bit slow. Anyway, here we are. So, Brandenburg has expanded slightly into Neumark and Altmark, and the Teutonic Order has been pushed back. They then form the Prussian state, while Brandenburg stays behind. However, soon enough, during the 80 Years' War, we can skip ahead, where we will see that Brandenburg has taken the old Prussian provinces, or if I'm mistaken, Prussia will still exist. But we will see in just a moment. I do have to say, ever since I changed my operating system to Windows 10, this action here has been extremely slow. There we are. Brandenburg has not yet taken the Prussian provinces, but the Prussian provinces are definitely there. Moving on, we can go to the Quadruple Alliance, at which point I'm definitely sure that Brandenburg has taken the Prussian provinces. They've also expanded very, very much, usually having taken Pomerania, all of these provinces, and a few other ones. When it does load in, you'll see it as well. If it doesn't, then we'll have an issue. But we should not have any big issues if we are most lucky. Now come along, my dear. You can show these wonderfully attentive people the beauty that is the time skip. I do wonder though what is causing the delay. Perhaps I'll cut them out. Anyway, back to Brandenburg. As I said, they have taken the lands and they've already formed Prussia, so there you are. And of course, from here on out, most people know the history. Prussia starts to expand into Germany. They take provinces on the east, on the west. They involve themselves with some larger wars with France and so on, and just generally have a good time. Eventually, of course, later in history, around 1880, they form Germany, and the rest, I think, is history. Now, let us move on to tactics. And welcome to in-game of Brandenburg, where, of course, we are in the 1444 start, in a position of wonderful startness, as you do. Now, a few things that might be ideal. Austria is definitely your friend if you decide to make it so, but it can be difficult to get them friendly. However, royal marriage will usually do it. Same with Bohemia, and same even with Poland in some cases. If you just add a bit more, you have a claim, I have a core on Neumark, which is definitely something to go for, but even that might be overshadowed by the fact that if you are playing your cards right, you can attack Pomerania, vassalize Pomerania, then attack the Teutonic Order, vassal feed Pomerania, a few provinces, take Neumark for yourself, and you will become the most powerful nation in the Baltic trade zone. After all, dancing is everything. We have to declare war for it. Either way, the west is relatively easy to conquer with relatively small nations. Of course, you will have to watch out for your aggressive expansion in the Holy Roman Empire. Other nations that might like you, Saxony, of course, Bohemia, Denmark even, at times, sometimes not, sometimes yes. Late game, you have very much choice of whatever you decide to go. With your ideas being, of course, the Space Marines, you have possibilities in every direction. However, it is most likely a good idea to head into Lübeck, the Baltic Sea, and towards the English Channel. Becoming Prussia, which will be done later on, will be having to lose your claim to the HRE. After all, you will become a kingdom and leave the HRE. So if you're trying to become the emperor, you cannot do that. Also, it's important to note that if you do form the Holy Roman Empire, you will lose your Prussian ideas. Otherwise, you have, of course, the chance to form the German nation, which is definitely something to aim for, and now that they've changed the flag to something more strong and beautiful, it is definitely something to strive to. However, there is a change that might have happened in the recent patches, where you're actually able to choose, do we wish to keep the ideas or continue with them? In every case, please just keep Prussian ideas. They are your god, you should worship them, they are amazing. And yes, so, a wonderful little idea that is that you can now choose what you wish to have happen with your ideas. But, as I said before, as to what you wish to do with Brandenburg, it is honestly up to you. You have every direction to expand to. Just watch out for your aggressive expansion. Keep your friends close, and Prussia, Germany, and the world will soon be at your fingertips. Now, moving on to achievements, sadly of which there is only one. Achievements. The only achievement to be done by Brandenburg is called, I forgot the name now, but it's called a Fine Goose Step. And it is the fact that you have to form Prussia and then get 125% discipline. So, the best way to do this, first of all, get all your ideas. You get discipline plus 7.5. Secondly, get an idea that gives you discipline. Offensive Corps. You now have 12.5 discipline. Next, if we look into here, we can find another discipline event, if I can remember it. No, it was not in here. Now, where is the discipline? Where was the discipline? Here we go. Take quality ideas and weapon quality standards, which means you need to get economic ideas. Both very amazing tech. So offensive, quality, and economic. That puts you up to 12.5. No, puts you up to 17.5. And of course we are aiming for 125%. Next you will of course need to take your advisor for discipline, which will put you at 22.5, and from then on you can usually get the discipline for your Protestant faith. Can't show it right now, but promise me it's there. Trust me, it's there. Otherwise, there are different ways of doing it, but this is most likely the easiest way of going at it, since what you're aiming for is a late game achievement anyway. Since Prussia, you need to be at least Tech 10 and of course Protestant or Reformed, and own most of the Teutonic Order. But that would be it for Brandenburg. Sadly, not too much to talk about, since of course Brandenburg is relatively OP when it comes to the late game. Even in the early game they can be quite ridiculously overpowered, just because about how many friends they have and how well you can manipulate them. So that was that. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm definitely interested in getting more ideas for people to explain. Of course, right now we're being mostly in Europe. However, outside of Europe does exist. Would you believe it? Anyhow, as I said, I'm always happy to get more requests. I'm always happy to get more requests for campaigns as well. But for that, I'll leave you till the next time.